Hey guys, it's Alyssa, the hopeless romantic redhead.
And I'm Danielle, the whodunit detective.
And welcome to Main Character Syndrome. If you feel like you are the main character in your everyday life, you are in the right place. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Good to have you. So we just finished our review of It Ends With Us. So I thought this week we could play a little It Ends With Us mini game.
Yeah, we have these table cards.
We do.
I'm excited to use.
These are table topics. I got them at Barnes & Noble. Actually, I got them from my friend Caitlin, who got them at Barnes & Noble for me. They're so cute. And they're like great book club discussions.
Yeah.
So
what a great idea.
Yeah. But first, we're going to do a little true-false action with Miss Colleen Hoover, who is one of the biggest authors of all time right now.
Yes.
So, first question, true-false. Colleen Hoover only writes romance novels.
No, I think I've heard some bad things about Verity. Not like bad as in the book's bad, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think she only writes romance novels. I think Verity is like a mystery thriller.
Maybe.
If
that's on my TBR list, so.
It's on mine as well. So, okay. Answer is false. She writes YA, romance, and psychological thrillers.
Which I think that's what Verity is. Yeah.
Okay. Colleen is a #1 New York Times bestselling author. True.
For sure.
Definitely. Answer is true. She is the #1 New York Times bestselling author of 22 novels and novellas.
Holy cow.
Dang, girl, you've been busy. Okay. She has created a charity subscription service that has donated over $1 million to help those in need. I mean, that's super specific, so I'm guessing that's true.
That'd be really awkward if it was false. Like, oh, why haven't you done this?
Like, psych, you give nothing to the community and you suck.
Even though you've written about the need to give to charity.
Right.
And It Ends With Us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, your passion is giving back to people. Okay, so obviously the answer is true. It's called the Bookworm Box, and it provides readers with the opportunity to receive signet novels in the mail each month. Oh, signed. Excuse me. My mind is on fourth wing. Signets. Okay. Gives them the opportunity to receive signed novels in the mail each month from authors all over the world. That's really cool, Colleen.
That is awesome.
Good for you. Okay, true or false? She published her first novel in 2015.
I'm going to say false.
False?
I don't know the year, but I bet it's earlier.
It is false. Her first novel, Slammed, was published in 2012.
Yes.
Nice. Good
I'm
job.
doing good.
Okay. She has never produced a film adaptation for any of her books. Well, we all know that's false.
That's about to be false.
So actually, her novel, Confess, was filmed as a series and is available on Amazon Prime.
Really?
Yeah. So I think we need to go check that out. All right. Let's get into our cards for the day.
Wait. What was your main character moment this week?
Oh, my main character moment this week. Gosh, how could I skip that? Okay. My main character moment this week was Thunder Ridge actually invited me out to Media Day. So it's Thunder Ridge Nature Arena, and it's this huge, like, big outdoor amphitheater. Like, think Red Rock in Colorado, but here in the Ozarks. So it's a Johnny Morris property, and that man goes all out for everything. I mean, his ice in the drinks had TR, and they were like inscribed.
If you don't know who Johnny Morris is because you don't live in Springfield or the Ozarks, he is the owner of Bass Pro Shops.
Yes, the big man of the outdoor conservation world.
He's Springfield's claim to fame, as well as Brad Pitt. If you guys did not know, Brad Pitt is from Springfield, and he went to Kickapoo High School.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We have some famous people here.
And Lucas Grabeel.
Who's that?
He is from High School Musical.
You're right. Was I with you when I saw him at
Did you?
A restaurant here in town.
That's amazing. I actually interviewed him in 2022. He came and he surprised some kids at the Little Theater where he actually did some acting. And he surprised them while they were doing High School Musical, the musical.
Oh, that's awesome. When I saw him here, gosh, I can't remember who I was with, but we were at Haruno. Love me some sushi.
Oh,
and apparently he does too, because he was sitting at the table behind us, and the girl I was with was like, don't turn around, but that is Lucas from High School Musical. And I was like, amazing. What? And I turned around, and there's like a line of people starting, and he was apparently here in town for some play that I think he was in.
Yeah, and then he like did his own concert or something a few days after. That's what we were talking about on the show, is that he was like, I'm going to do this at the Springfield Little Theater. Come on out and buy some tickets and listen to some good hits. I was like, this is like so nostalgic for me right now. I almost called him Ryan Evans in the interview instead of Lucas Graybill.
That's awesome.
That's how starstruck I was. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Sharpay and Ryan.
I bet he is pretty used to that though. My main character moment this week, and really now every week this summer, is I am a plant mama.
Yay!
I have become a plant mama. There's a plant right behind you. I just bought that last weekend. Pretty excited about it.
Proud of you. Do you actually keep them alive?
Yes. I've only had one herb that's died, and it was cilantro. And I've heard that one is sometimes a hard one to keep alive. I watered it, and then I should have known better because the next day it rained, and so it drowned.
Aww.
But that's the only one that's died.
I bought a dill plant a couple weeks ago at the farmer's market, and it died within a week.
I will say, I also bought a couple plants from the farmer's market recently, and they also are not doing great.
Sus.
Yeah, it was a little sus.
Side eye.
They were like, I think I spent like $18 though for 3 plants, like 2 different types of like hybrid petunias, and then one very large one was only $10. Oh
my gosh.
And so I should have known better.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the dill plant was like $2. So yeah, you get what you pay for at that point.
Okay, now let's jump into the table topics.
Okay, let's jump into the table topics from Barnes Noble. Sponsor us. JK, not really. And go with our first question. Ooh, is the author open to all sides of the argument, or is there an agenda?
I would say overall, mostly open to all sides. I think there's just kind of so many different situations and kind of societal issues that are brought up in here. I'd say you definitely are on Ryle, not like Ryle's side per se in part of the book, but she is open to, talking about Ryle and his situation and kind of his background story and making you sympathize with him a little bit, even though there's no excuse for domestic violence.
Yeah, I agree. We get kind of both sides. Without getting Ryle's point of view, we still get the reasons why he says he does things. So we get what happened to him as a child. We get Atlas and what happened to him and, the reason behind him being homeless. And we also get Lily and her thoughts. So that's what we kind of get. We get like everyone's thoughts and emotions through Lily's observation.
Yeah.
So I thought Colleen did a really good job with that. Okay. Number 2, was there too much or too little detail? Now, actually, I thought that there was just enough. I'm sure Atlas getting beaten by a baseball bat was very graphic, but I enjoyed the way that Colleen didn't make it so gory.
Yes.
But there was enough detail to know that the dad did some significant damage.
Yeah. Or, also the near rape. It wasn't overdone.
Yeah.
And I think that was done in, this is bad to say, kind of almost a tasteful manner.
Yeah.
To where, like, maybe if you have been through something like that, like, it could still be triggering, but it's not like in your face, you're living this moment.
And some books do that.
Yeah.
I have read a scene that I wish I did not read. And I was like, wow, that is graphic.
Yeah.
So Colleen did this, I feel like, the same way, in a tasteful way.
And I think we got so much detail in a great way by those letters to Ellen.
Yeah.
That was such like a great way to add detail and add more details into all of these little smaller storylines.
I agree with that. It was all from Lily's point of view, but she still got, all the thoughts and feelings. Like, she could see love in someone's eyes. She could see fear. And I don't know. I thought it was really done.
And holy cow, when she read the letter to Ellen where she talked about Atlas admitting that he was going into that house to kill himself. Holy cow. I remember I was driving my car, and I know exactly where I was at that moment when that scene popped up, because that threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
Threw me for a loop, and I kid you not, Alyssa, I started crying.
Aww.
I was like...
There were a few moments where I had a tear slip. I was like, oh, this is so sad. Especially when, like, she flat out, as soon as her daughter is born in the hospital, she tells Ryle, like, I want a divorce. Yeah. I was like, damn, girl.
I was like, okay, maybe that wasn't the best time.
Probably not. But I mean, she said it was the best time for her.
It was the best time for her. I was literally just about to say that because because I mean, she felt that in that moment. She's like, if I don't do this now, then I might take him back.
Yeah, but I might never do it.
So all of that to say, I think there was just the right amount of detail.
Yeah, I think there was. Okay, what kind of mood did the book put you in? Kind of like, it was like, I was giggling like a schoolgirl in the beginning with the flirtationship between her and Ryle, and then things started happening, and then it was just kind of like, I was scared for her, and then it just got really sad.
Yeah, the way I kind of want to think about this question is, I think I felt like the book for me almost put me in like a call to action kind of mood. When I was reading it throughout, I was just like, gosh, my eyes are open, and I mean, I'm just one person, but I do want to help. I want to help, these young adults or children who have been kicked out of their homes, who are in these abusive relationships. So women, men, I was like, wow, what can I do? And so that was kind of the mood I felt throughout the book. Was I sympathized so much. I felt a lot of empathy for these characters and for just people in general who deal with this stuff in real life, because this is a fictional book.
Right.
But these situations are completely real.
Real situations. And I emceed an event for I Pour Life here in Springfield. And it is a program that basically helps kids, which I say kids, which are like older high school kids and young adults, basically get out into the world, like learn the skills. They may have been trafficked, abused, neglected, and they learn these life skills to be successful in life. And I'm like, you know what? If I had Jeff Bezos money, this is an organization I would love to support.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have Jeff Bezos money.
I wish.
But, donating to charity is something that Andrew and I do and will continue to do, and something that I love. And really, with this book, I will say I had two wonderful parents who loved me very much, and we had a great relationship. But when they died, and I was, 21, and when my dad died, I just turned 22.
Yeah.
I would say I was still a young adult. And looking back now, I'm like, yeah, I was still a child. Like, I didn't know anything. And I was just thrown out into the world immediately. No parents, kind of no safety net. And so, I mean, my situation's obviously a lot different. I'm thankful my parents didn't beat me and kick me out of the house. But I was a young adult who had to make my way on my own and didn't really have too much guidance. I eventually got some great mentors, and I, have my second mom who helped take me in after really not long after my parents died, which was wonderful. And I'd love to do something like that for children, young adults one day.
That's amazing. Okay. Next question. What was the author's message? Well, I think the book is called It Ends With Us. And I think the author's message is really not only ending the violent cycle between, her family, herself, and her child, but ending judgment of people. Don't judge a book by its cover is so true with this. With Atlas, he's homeless because he has nowhere to go. He's 18 years old. His mom kicked him out of the house. He's still in high school. He has no idea what to do. With Ryle and Lily, things were happening behind the scenes. He seemed great on paper, but when you close those doors and you get behind the scenes and you get him angry enough,
he's a messed up character.
He's a messed up person.
So, I mean, the outside things can look so perfect and just pristine. And then, the inside, it's completely different. I didn't think about Ryle and how he looked so put together. I hadn't thought about that. And,
a neurosurgeon.
Yeah. He's so successful. He's rich, and
he's a girl's dream, honestly.
Yeah. And, Lily's mother is like, Lily, a surgeon.
I want to be you when I grow up.
Yeah. And it's just no. No, just don't judge a book. And it made me so mad when those girls on the bus were like, ew, about Atlas. I was like, gosh. And that also happens.
I had kids on my bus do the same thing to the kid who maybe didn't smell the best or maybe looked a little nerdy or always read books or liked Pokemon.
I'm going to say something silly. And it's kind of like Adam Sandler.
Okay, but in every movie, Adam Sandler always gets the girl, and she's always like super hot.
He's a really successful man, and he does appear put together.
Yeah.
But I mean, every time people take pictures of him, that man is just wearing like t-shirts, baggy shorts past his knees, and like some socks and slides.
But he's like one of the most notorious celebrities that you'll know.
Yeah, he's like, you're like, dude, I know you have money.
You know what? It is the personality that matters at this point.
So don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
I also want to say maybe a message from this is that abuse can come in many different forms, and situations are different, for everyone. So I hope so many people could see some of the signs of abuse from this book, and if that's happening to them, maybe be able to look inward and kind of see how it's happening maybe in their relationships and kind of start to find those red flags and move out of a situation that's really bad for them.
Okay. Is the story driven more by the plot or the characters? I think the characters. I think we get a lot of emotion, a lot of like thoughts from Lily's point of view, obviously, but I think we get a lot of emotion more than we get like plot itself.
You really feel like you are Lily, basically, and making these decisions with her. So I would agree.
Yeah. All right. That was a short one. Next. Did the author create believable characters? I think so. Even though Ryle was like this perfect man on the outside, he was a monster on the inside. And he had his own inner demons. And I think that's believable. We have people that, we see them on the news, working in the news industry.
We see a lot of bad people.
Normal looking people. And they're absolute psychos.
Yeah. All the time. So, and Lily's dad, he was a mayor.
Yeah. He was in power.
And, I hate to say it, but of course, I'm sure there's a lot of people in power who abuse their situations. I wish it wasn't like that, but that's just a reality that we face. And I say there are so many women and even men in this world who are in Lily's situation. And I think a lot of people could really relate to her. And gosh, even in my own life, I was like looking at her situation and I was like, okay, how can I like maybe see some things that happen in my life that are similar to hers? And so, yeah, I'd say definitely.
Yeah. Okay. What value does this book have for contemporary society?
Well, it's a talking point.
Yeah.
It's bringing up these hard topics.
I think so. And I think the movie's doing the same thing where people are going to go to watch a movie with Blake Lively in it. And I think they're going to come back with a whole new, eye-opening to the world of like, wow, this actually happens in real life. The person just can't get out of a situation. There's so much more to it.
Yeah. So I think that definitely has value. I think also, kind of like we mentioned before, bringing up Atlas and hopefully bringing to light those children and young adults who slip under the radar.
Yeah, that the system fails completely.
Yeah, and so I hope that gets addressed. And the book's been huge. I hope the movie does really well, and I hope it just kind of brings it to light even more.
Honestly, I wasn't going to read the book when it came out because I personally don't love reading about domestic violence. I think it hits too close to home, or not in my situation, but I think it just hits too close. It's too real and it happens too often.
Yeah.
And like reading like kids getting abused, spouses getting abused, like it's just hard to read. But in this case, I think it needed to be read for me to understand like this actually happens and no, it's not as easy as just getting out.
Yeah.
So that's
I didn't read this book for a long time because of the hype.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just
not a hype girl.
I'm one of those people. I don't normally fall for the hype. I will say I like to think maybe I got in on Fourth Wing before the main hype started.
Excuse me, but you loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I really love this book too. So I'm kind of sad that I put it off for so long. But yeah, after like hearing about it so much from everyone, they're like, read it. And like, are you on TikTok? Are you like, have you seen all of the stuff about Colleen Hoover on TikTok? I was like, no, I'm just going to stick to my murder mysteries and thrillers.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But branch out a little bit.
Yeah, I was really glad I read this.
Okay. After I read this book, though, I was obsessed and I had to read the second book. And I'm telling you, everything that you wanted at the ending of It Ends With Us, you get in It Starts With Us.
I'm so excited for that.
It's so good. You need to pick it up and read it.
I have it on the shelf right behind me. Yeah. I didn't know that I had it either. I was like, when did I buy this?
Well, now you have it. I actually listened to the audiobook and it was actually really, really good because you got, spoiler, Atlas and Lily and two different authors or two different narrators. So a man's voice and a woman's voice.
Okay.
So it's cute. It's like a dual point of view. So you get Atlas's point of view and you get Lily's. Nice. And there are some letters that, or there's something where like Atlas will write Lily a letter from his perspective of some of the things that happened. And it's really good. So you definitely need to pick that one up and read it if you have not. Okay. What one question would you like to ask the author? I would kind of like to go into like what Rebecca Yarros asked her fans and be like, do you need a hug? Because like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, she was a daughter, you know, of parents who were in an abusive relationship. Her dad also beat up her mom. And we see that in the book where she talks about in the author's note that the kitchen scene was real. And so, yeah. Do you need a hug?
Do you need a hug, Colleen?
You write some tear jerkers.
Seriously. And the fact that this one was based off of your mother's experience, you know, I would like to know, I guess, how she put herself in her mom's shoes while writing that scene and how she felt during that.
Yeah. And also, what was it like to have your mom read your book about this?
Yeah. Because I think in the author's note, she said she got permission from her mom.
Yeah. But I wonder if her mom actually read it.
I wonder if she read it or what her opinion was of it.
I also want to ask, to Colleen Hoover, do you love Ryle? Do you still love Ryle?
That's a good question. Because as a reader, I couldn't tell whether or not I did. And It Starts With Us, you kind of get annoyed with him.
Yeah.
So read the book.
So maybe not. Maybe she's like, okay, we're done with him now. And so maybe she's had like a full-on breakup with him. Yeah.
He still has redeeming qualities, even like in the midst of like his monstrous thoughts and actions that he does. So, I mean, it is really hard to hate Ryle when he does feel remorse for what he does, but he needs help.
But she also mentions in the author's notes kind of about how when her mom left her dad was, you know, it was a completely different relationship then, that they just like were not meant for each other.
Yeah.
And they were just bad and toxic. Oh, the mom wasn't really toxic. The dad was toxic.
Yeah.
But it was a toxic relationship. But as soon as they separated, you know, that's what was meant to be. And it was really good for their relationship and their family.
All right, a couple more. What alternative title would you give this book?
None. I think It Ends With Us is perfect.
I also agree. I don't think there's any other kind of title that it could have because, I mean, at the end, she wraps it up with It Ends With Us, meaning the cycle of violence ends with this relationship.
Yeah.
It's not going to go.
We're not passing it on to our children.
Yeah, we're not passing it on to our children. Their children. It stops here. So, all right, last one. What do you think will be your lasting impression of this book? I think don't judge a book by its cover is mine.
Yeah. I think my lasting impression is just kind of empathy and admiration for victims who are in situations like this, like Alice's, like Lily's. And yeah, I think I just have a lot of admiration for people who endure this pain all the time and maybe try to stop the cycle if they can, but it's not as easy as it seems.
Well, even with her mother, Lily's mother in this case, she didn't have the resources to get out. You know, dad probably paid for everything, and she needed those resources to be able to give Lily the life that she deserved. And so I think she stayed with him partly, A, yes, she did love him, but B, so Lily could have a good life.
Yeah.
So,
but she didn't recognize that it probably would have been better had they split up.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I go with the don't judge a book by its cover, have empathy, not judgment. In this case, that's what I'm taking from this book is like, you never know what a person is going through.
No, you don't. And I think that it takes a lot to get out of situations like this. It takes a lot to move past love, and the world needs a lot more love.
I would agree. All right, that was kind of a somber episode of Main Character Syndrome, but this book is so good. If you have not picked it up yet, I would read it before you go see the movie that is out right now. That's why we're doing this, is we wanted to read it before we saw the movie with Blake Lively.
Yeah.
So, for now, to the readers who listen, we'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.